Hi everybody, welcome to the Happy House, New York City. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the fabulous pose, Happy Home Yoga with the one and only Alison West. For today's session, you just need two little props. One is a strap or a belt, something you can put some tension into. And the second thing is a chair, just any old chair from the kitchen or from your bedroom. Without further ado, I'm going to go off that way. Gorgeous Alison is standing to my right and she would come in and start the session. So enjoy every minute of it. It's going to be a good one.
Hello everybody. Thank you again, Tom and Ari and everybody involved for making this wonderful event happen. It's one of the most unimaginably cheerful things to be part of. I'm so glad I am able to participate. It's just wonderful. And this is the home of my own yoga practice, Yoga Union, here in New York City. Wherever you are in the world, welcome. It's just wonderful that we can all be together. I have a belt here, which I'm moving to the side for a moment, but we'll get to use some sort of strap at some point in the practice, and the chair. So if you haven't had a chance to set your chair up, go ahead and do that. I'm leaving my chair this way, but I'm going to sit this way just so I don't have to keep changing the position. But you'll be on your chair this way. Okay, so I'm just going to sit like this, and I'm going to pop my strap over there for now, and sit at the edge of my chair. And you might want to do that too, because that'll let you move your arms down and up, so you're sitting at the front edge of your seat. We're at the edge of our seats for our practice today. And so here goes. Catch up if you miss a few moments, don't worry about it if you're still setting up a chair, what have you. Let's get going. Okay, so first, imagine you're sitting at a chair, on a chair. I think a lot of people are sitting on a chair all day, like this, computing. So now we're going to reverse some of that and also do it with the breath. So last week we looked at Kapalabhati, and so we're going to just continue with some things like that, movements of the arm, but that you can also do seated. So begin with your arms down, exhale, and inhale the arms up, exhale the arms down. Inhale, exhale, and do this any number of times during the day. When you're seated and you're not breathing, you don't get to go out, you don't get to walk, this will help to start irrigate the body with oxygen, move blood, and so forth. The breath is its own flow practice, like that. Now take the arms out to the side, and you're simply going to bring them together. Exhale, inhale, exhale, and you can speed that up. Like that, back and forth, and pause. So I'm feeling warmth come to my whole upper body already, so I know that it's having an effect. Now, a mild twist with this movement. Arms out to the side, stretching, and simply allow the body to turn softly side to side. Don't make too much of it. You're not trying to win the Olympics of spinal twisting. You're just softly turning the spine. You can let the head go with it. You can also leave the head behind so you get a counter twist in the neck. Enjoy this warming up of the back of the whole spine, and then just rest the arms down for a moment. So those are our first mobilizing actions to feel a little warmer, because now we're going to do a little spinal extension or back bending over the chair back. This is a metal yoga chair, so I put blankets on it because I prefer to have a little padding against my spine, but you can assess your particular needs. I just need to explain that if you're very tall, your sit bones might need to come forward. If you're very small, you might need to put more under your sit bones so that the area around the bottom of your shoulder blades, or we can say the bra line, comes to the chair back. So I'm going to move back and check in with where I am, and there. That puts me at more or less at the bottom, but it's arching my back a little too much. I don't know if you can see that, but my back is in a slightly harsh arch. So I'm just going to slide my sit bones forward a little bit so I have a softer angle in my back. Keep yourself safe. You don't want to hurt yourself when you're trying to make yourself feel better. So hands come behind the head. Start with the elbows wide and just let the elbows come out to the side as you keep your head up with your hands. Inhale here, and on the exhalation, bring the elbows in. Keep the elbows in as you hold your head up, and you inhale and you arch back, holding your head. And you arch back over the chair. And once you're there, pause, holding your head, inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, support at the lower abdomen. And now you're going to open and close the arms. Inhale, open the elbows. Exhale, close the elbows. Inhale, open the elbows. Exhale, close the elbows. Imagine that you might just be sitting on a beach looking up at the sunny sky and opening and closing your elbows like a butterfly. Now bring the elbows together and lift the head up. And you can bring the hands back to the chair back to help push yourself up so that you come up without undue effort. Now we're going to add a little bit to that using the strap. You don't have to use the strap, but when you hold on to a strap, it makes work in the shoulders a little bit easier because you're not pulling in so much with the inner muscles of the shoulder, but the outer, and you create a little more space. So this is a fairly long strap, right? It doesn't have to be this long, because basically you're going to be holding your hands just a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Now, if you don't have a strap, but you have a dowel or a broom or something, you can hold on to that too. So here we go. You're going to be coming into the same position. So before I have the strap out in front of me, I'm going to slide my sit bones forward, and I'm reaching, pulling on the belt like Samson trying to knock the temple pillars down, reaching up overhead. Now here your head is not supported, so you have to be the judge of what you can tolerate. And you reach, and your arms are further out behind you, and you go back. If it's too much, you can keep, for your neck, you can keep looking ahead and just reach the arms out behind you. If you have the strength to take the head back, you can take the head back, and you reach out with your arms. And if you can lift your head without using your arms, you do so, but if you find it too hard, bring your hands back and pull your arms forward. Come to the front of your seat. So that puts more weight out behind us, which also means the front body has to work a little bit to prevent us from falling. Now, keeping tension on the belt. Again, a little bit of twisting, but now the arms are together, so this will generate a little bit more force across the upper spine as you turn. A little inhale to center, exhale. And of course, even if you didn't have a belt, you could also just hold your hands like this out in front of you, and that too would give some of the same effect, but it's quite narrow across the front of the shoulders. Now, set your belt down for now, and we're going to take another spinal twist together on the chair. And what this twist is like a twist in a lunge, but we're seated on a chair. So if you can bring your hand to the floor, good. If not, rest your hand on your shin, right? Like that. If you have a yoga block, of course, you can put your hand on the block. Right? So at the front edge of your chair, come down, take the left arm out to the side, and you want to make sure that your right shoulder is coming in underneath you, and the left arm is just going to come straight up out of the right hand. Look down at the floor, lengthen your spine, reach back through both sit bones if you know where they are. Head is reaching forward, sit bones back, spine is light and long, and with your right hand, imagine you're pushing the floor towards your right foot, and that's going to help you turn. And then if your neck allows for it, look up at your left hand. If it doesn't feel good, just keep your head in line with your spine, and you also can continue to look at the floor. Breathe, inhale, exhale, turn, inhale, lengthen, exhale, turn, inhale, lengthen one more time, and drop the left hand down, and come up and pause, and assess. See how your body feels now that you've had one rotation, but not the other. So this is part of yoga, awareness, looking in, feeling. That's part of its healing quality. You get to pay attention to yourself, not in an egomaniacal way, just observing. And awareness and observing is a form of self-love. So it's a wonderful thing to do, and we want to feel that, right? Just simple regard. Second side. The left hand will come down between the feet, And what I mean when I say don't let the shoulder go out, you don't want to let this happen. So your shoulder is going to stay over your wrist, and you can even use this hand to start that rotation. Hold the shoulder over the wrist, arm out to the side, press down into the floor, and slowly roll the chest open. And your hand is pushing towards your left foot, as though you're trying to push the floor away. And that is going to help you with your twist. And as you twist, you decide you want to keep looking at your hand. You want to look straight out. You want to look up at your hand. Right? Each person is coming to this with a different range of motion, a different time of day, a different level of energy. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, press with the left hand towards the left foot. And releasing. Inhale and come up. Sit tall, and now observe the body after doing both sides. I feel more balanced. I hope you do too. Stretch both arms up by the ears so that you can now lengthen both sides of the spine. And now prepare to do a little bit of core work, hip flexor work. So you want to stay fairly far forward in the chair and come back. And again, I remind you, if you're small, you might need a little more support on the chair. If you're tall, less underneath you, and a little bit more on the top. So these are body proportion issues that I'd love to talk to you individually about. You can always consult with me on a private basis, but these are things that I think you can work out for yourself too. Do you see how I'm catching my elbows behind the chair? I'm pressing against the chair. If your chair is very tall, you won't be able to do that, but you could also find some place to hold on the chair down here. I'm catching my elbows, and it's acting as a support for when I lift my knees. So you keep your knees bent, and you just run in place here, not overarching your lower back, but not tucking it either. A neutral spine, meaning you have your normal lumbar curve and thoracic curve. Neutral does not mean flat. So here you go, up and down like this. Then we're going to add a little bit to this by going out instead. Out, 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 and then pedaling. So pedaling away like this, very cheerfully, and feet down. I hope some heat is building up. And again, pedaling, but in reverse. And it's surprisingly different. Knees up, and you come in towards yourself first. In towards yourself, and pedal in a reverse. So we don't usually do that on a bicycle, but we can certainly do it in the air. Right? Yoga is full of magical tricks. And you try and get those knees up and in, and up and in, and up and in, and it looks a lot harder than it looks easier than it is. It's quite demanding. So with all of that hip flexion work, we're going to take a short counter pose, and then we'll do boat pose on the chair. The caraway behind you, and you push the floor down, and you push the chair out, and if you want, you can take the head back. Inhale, and on the exhalation, come back onto your chair. And Navasana, boat pose. Now, you can do boat pose with bent knees or straight legs, and there's a wonderful way to start learning it. If your strap is long enough, you can put it around your back and around your feet in what I call Bahamian Navasana. It's like being in a hammock at the beach, right? So it's very happy hour house kind of Navasana, right? Because you see, if I put it around, I put it high on my back, right? I want it right up there, because that's where we're lifting the top chest. And then you get your feet in there, and of course, it depends on your range of motion. You can also do it with bent knees. So I'm putting this around near my heels. I'm leaning back, see, like that? Then, when I lift my feet and push on the belt, I've got this wonderful support for my Navasana, and let's just see if I can balance in the chair without touching the chair back, and lifting my arms up, and rolling open, and boom, down I go. So you have a balancing challenge as well. As I said, you can do it with bent knees. You do not have to strain your lower back, injure your hamstrings. There's nothing good about any of that. So you just do it with bent knees. Maybe you want to do it that way first. That's a little tight. That's going to be its own challenge. Right? So up here, and like that. And you start by holding on, and then you just play around with your balance. You have to lengthen your spine, and you want to imagine you're lifting your chest out of the belt, but also lifting the belt with your arms as you lift the arms, right? Like that. So explore that balancing action, and see if you can find a regular breath. Of course, I'm talking all the time, which makes it a little harder to breathe serenely. But now you try that. And I'm going to do it with you without the belt. And so you're leaning back and you're taking your legs to whatever degree you can in the belt. And then you balance. And here, if you're at the front of the chair, you can lean back a little bit more so that you can take your arms out by your legs, arms overhead. When you take the arms overhead, it puts more weight behind you, so you don't want to fall. Arms out here, legs bent. You just do any of those you like. So take a few more breaths. Enjoy yourself. Feel the challenge. Okay, I think you're done. So now, put your hands back on the chair again, and you're going to walk your feet out a little further so that you can start increasing the back bend of this pose. So the feet are going to come out quite a bit further, so the legs are almost straight. Again, if you need to keep the knees bent, please keep them bent. I'm just giving a little more challenge for those who want to take it on and are able. Inhale to prepare, and on the exhalation, push the chair away as you pull the floor in towards you and lift your hips up. So there you are, and you can take your hip back. Purvottanasana, incline plane. And come back and bring your feet back. We're going to do that one more time. So it's more demanding when the legs are straight. They're working on a different muscle length. If you're interested in all that stuff, it's really worth learning. And when you stretch the legs, the muscles are working on a longer and therefore harder length, and the joint is more exposed. Okay, I won't say any more. So here we go. Inhale. Exhale, shoulders down the back. Push the chair out behind you, and with your heels, pull the world in under you. Lengthen your waist. Lift the hips. Press, pull, and back. And come down. And walk your feet in. And pause. Knees apart, and down you go. Rest here. If your groins are very tight, rest at whatever height is comfortable. You don't have to go all the way down. And sometimes it's very nice to take a blanket and pop that blanket right in so that you have a little bit more support there. And then you don't go so much into the crease. And it gives you a little more ease, and you can just rest like that. I'm going to go down, because that's where I get my release. And you can even hold on to the chair legs and let the hip go. Eventually, this is the sort of position that's going to let you put your feet behind your head, but not today. You can see your foot could eventually come behind your head in that position. Okay, now, I'm just stand up, and I'm going to pop these blankets over here. I hope out of sight, because it's nice to work with a serene yoga environment. And I'm keeping the chair, and I'm putting this across the chair, just like that, because you're going to have your hands on the chair. I don't want to slip on the chair, but I also want to have something comfortable for the heel of my hand. And you're just going to be doing pretty much the same pose you just did, except now pushing the floor away in front of you instead of behind you. So now the front body is going to be working to not fall, instead of the back of your body working to not fall. Here we go. The hands come down to the chair. If you have very wide shoulders and you have two chairs, you can put two chairs next to each other and do it like that. So remember, this chair is made for me. I'm your average Jeanette, and it happens that the yoga chairs and I are pretty much compatible, but not everybody is. If you're 6'6", this is going to be an itty-bitty chair. You might even want to put blankets or blocks on the chair. Do you understand? So you have to figure that out. I'd love to help you. Let me know if I can. So here, you walk yourself back into plank. So here I am, lengthening my legs in a plank. And then I'm walking back a little bit more, and I just want to make sure that I'm not going to overdo the back bend. And now I pull the chair towards me, and I lift my head up as I take the shoulder blades down my back. I don't want to be here with my shoulders forward, sinking down. I want to be here with the shoulder blades moving down, just above the pubic bone in the lower abdomen. Restrain yourself, lift, broaden the front start with your hands. Lift the head and reach forward on your toes. Open up the chest and look up a little bit. Don't crank your neck, just look up. Now, you're going to go to chair down dog. Press back, and if you need to bend the knees to keep the back long, you bend your knees. You don't want to come back with a rounded back. So bend your knees as needed. I don't. I can inhale with straight legs, but you know, there's little virtue in that. I was just born with ease in this movement. Bend your knees as needed. Now inhale, and on the exhalation, lift your head, and one more time, come forward into your upward facing dog, pressing down on the chair, lifting your spine, and look over your right shoulder. Hello. Look over your left shoulder. Hello, wall. Look forward and look over your right shoulder. Hello again. Look forward. Look over your left shoulder. Keep pressing down. Don't give up. Bend the knees a little bit first so that as you go back, you don't compress your lower back. Reach back. Bend the knees as needed. Inhale and exhale in this high chair down dog. Now, as you finish that pose, come forward and you'll just do a few little push-ups on the chair. So you just come forward and go down and come up and go down and come up and go down. This relationship to gravity is easier than doing it on the floor. I'm recovering from a serious shoulder injury, so that's just perfect for me. Good. Now, stand up, and we are now going to stretch the front of the thigh. Stretching the front of the thigh is seldom considered fun, so it's better to do it together and just to acknowledge that we're going to be working through a little bit of resistance. The key is not to do too much. If you feel any strain in the knee, you must back off immediately. There's no working through pain in the knee, right? Any more than there's working through pain in the lower back. If you feel a stretch in the front of your thigh, great. That's where we're working towards. And also your psoas may get a little bit of lengthening. Now, this is a good way to start. If you happen to have blocks, right, that you can put near you, you know, it can help you maintain the chest a little bit high, but they're not 100% necessary. Because this is how we're starting. Oh, by the way, I want you to know that I'm on 3 thicknesses of mat. 3 thicknesses of jade yoga mat. They're very, very cushy, and my knee needs it, and I may still need something under my knee because they've all my life long protested a hard surface. So here I come, and I'm putting my ankle on the chair and bringing my knee down and bringing this foot forward. Now, I want to have my hands on the chair. We're starting standing, which is going to put some stretch on the front of your back thigh. If this is too hard, you move the knee forward in space, right? That opens up the angle here, do you understand? And takes pressure off the front of the leg. So you modify according to need and desire. Here we go. Push the foot against the chair and hold the chair with your foot. Can you feel how the front of your leg is contracting? That muscle is contracting because it's trying to straighten your leg, but you can't. And it's going to get a little bit tired, and then when you stop pushing, it may be willing to go further. Push the foot into the chair. Don't push the foot into the chair, and maybe it will go further. At this point, because the arms are holding you back, right, if it's getting too intense, then you might need to stop here, because if the chair's in the middle of the room, it might move away from you once you let go. But you can try. You can just take your hands away, and here, instead of pushing into the chair, you just let yourself come down, right? So you just check in with that. Is it possible? Can you come down? Can your chest stay lifted? Can you bring your arms out behind you as though you are a wonderful, wonderful sailing angel through space, right? There you are, gliding, intergalactic being. Okay, enough of the imagery maybe. And now bring the hands forward, let the head fall, lift up and change. Bring your other foot behind you and see if you can put the knee where it was the first time, right? So further back is more demanding. Then hands to knee, come up, bring a hand back, find the chair, come up, and second side. So here we go. You come to wherever you can come from the very beginning, right? You may come even all the way down, but I'm just showing you progressively. Push the foot into the chair, resist with the hands, inhale. And you want your sit bones to go straight down. In other words, you don't want to start coming down like this. That defeats the purpose. The lifting of the hips is what's going to help you get that stretch. Push the foot into the chair. Inhale, and on the exhale, reaching the breastbone up, go down. And you can do that one more time. Press, release, go down. Again, if you need to take the hands off the chair because this is too intense, just bring your hands to your knees and release down. Hands down. Gently lift up and find that chair with your sit bones. That was elegant. And just let yourself pause like this for a moment. Not long. You don't want to undo the work, but you also want to give yourself a little bit of release. So, down to the floor. Well, actually, let's stay up. Right after all of this work, it'd be nice to stay standing so that you can do Warrior One. Because Warrior One is a perfect expression of a one-legged, upward-facing dog. And the front leg is when you press your hands down, like this in Dandasana, let's say you cup your fingers and lift up, you have that same action with the shoulder blades for the front of the body as you do when the legs are behind you in upward-facing dog. So you can say that Warrior One is also like 2 Utkatasana, and also like double Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward-facing dog. We're going to use that energy. Take the right foot forward, take the left foot back, and let it be at about 45 degrees. So this is what's going to happen. You might want to watch this. It's a little peculiar, but it's quite effective. You want to wrap from the right side of your pelvis to the left, and imagine your thigh bone reaching up into that hip socket so you're not open. Nor are you cramming yourself closed. It's delicate, it's balanced. Now, as you inhale, the hands are going to softly lift, they're just dripping off the end of your arm, and the knee will bend. Exhale to prepare, inhale, lift, and then on the exhalation, imagine you're pushing into upward facing dog, press down, lift up, and see what happens to your back leg. Mine is electrified, it gets so strong and long. Then inhale your arms up. Reach up through the fingertips, reach back through the inner heel, reach up through the fingertips, reach back and down through the outer heel, reach up through the fingertips, and then float the arms down. So that action of pushing down is going to get your back leg to be very, very strong. So, here we go. Inhale, letting the wrists be very soft as you bend the knee. So this also lifts you as you bend the knee. And then exhale, press the hands down as though you're pressing into a strong supporting surface. Open up the chest. Let that femur come into the hip socket. Inhale your arms up and enjoy being in this strong, beautiful, uplifting pose. Warrior One. Warrior One, in which you are stringing the bow. Lifting, inhaling, exhaling, supporting yourself, strong and joyful, and slowly release and face forward. If you don't know the sequence, one of the ways this is thought of, Virabhadrasana was a great warrior in the service of the god Shiva, who was not invited to his daughter's wedding and was so upset he sent Virabhadra and killed all the wedding guests. So there you have it. The mercy of the gods. Okay, so, but this is stringing the bow, drawing the arrow, and Warrior 3 is shooting the arrow. So that's that little narrative through those poses. Now, let's take Prasarita Padottanasana together. Bring your thumbs around towards each other, and you only go as far as you can, right? But widen your legs a little bit more than you might be used to. You inhale. Exhale, come forward. If you need to bend your knees, bend your knees. Let the head come down. And bring the arms out in front of you and reach back through your sit bones. You can also put your hands up on blocks or even on a chair. Right? So I'm just going to make sure everybody knows that it's completely legitimate to use a chair, right? And you can stay this high, you can do these things, and for the twist, your elbow can be on the chair. Don't feel you have to go all the way down. So here we go again. And down, and first I'm releasing my back, and reaching out and creating length in my spine. Legs are active and firm, big toes pressing down, inside of the leg pressing out. Now, come back up, hands under the shoulders, and put your left hand to the middle of your mat. Put your right hand on your left shoulder, and draw your left shoulder so that it comes over the wrist. Keep it there as you move your hips back to the left, because they will have followed that movement. Move the hips back to the left, and when you've organized that, reach into your head, take the right arm out, and slowly as you push down into the floor, lift the arm up to the ceiling. And did we not do this at the start of class, seated on a chair? So here we are again. You can look out to the side, you can look up to the ceiling, you can reach, you can fly. Inhale to lengthen the spine, exhale to turn the spine. Keep anchoring that left sit bone back, keep moving that left shoulder to the right. And on your next exhalation, drop your right hand down and put it where the left hand was. Put your left hand on your right shoulder, because you're not going to do your twist like this. You're going to bring the shoulder in underneath you, and as soon as you've done that, move the right hip back again, because it's going to pull over to the left now. Reaching back with the right hip, right shoulder in underneath you. Take the left arm out to the side. Press the right hand into the floor, spread across the collarbones, fly. You can look to the side, you can look up, and you can even try pushing the floor away to the right with your hand, and you'll see that will move you a little more into your twist. Let the twist come from the head down to the ribs, but don't worry about the lumbar. Right? It doesn't have a lot of rotation. You don't have to force the issue. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turn. Inhale one more time, and just exhale both hands down. And you're going to do one more twist. Now, you have to be able to decide for yourself what your true range of motion is. Your left hand is going to come to your right ankle, or to your right calf, or to your right thigh. It's wherever it can go, right? So I am bringing my left hand to my right ankle. My left shoulder is pointing to the floor, and I'm moving my hips back to the right again. And again, I'm going to turn, but the hand is coming in front of me to the floor, and the elbow is lifting. So you're supporting yourself. You're not going to fall. Turn underneath your elbow. Move your hips back to the left. Turn underneath your elbow. Lift up. Right hand to left ankle, calf, or thigh. Left hand in front of you. Cut those fingers and turn. And move your hips back to the right. As you turn to the left, hips back to the right. Turn to the left. And come back to center. Walk your hands in underneath you. And you just bring your hand quietly down to whatever surface it will touch. It might touch the floor. It might touch the air. It might touch the chair in front of you. And rest for a moment. Now, walk your hands out. And you have a choice of how to come out of this. I recommend bending the knees and gently walking the feet in, but if you're feeling energized and happy about it, you can jump your feet together and then stand up. And perhaps you'll have a different perspective on the world as you come out of that long head down position. That's a great preparation to start thinking about doing a headstand. So now I'm going to teach you shoulder stand with a chair. Because you're doing it with a chair, you can control how much you're going up. There are two ways to use the chair. You can have your feet on the low edge. You can have your feet on the high edge. And you can also sit on the chair and bring your shoulders down facing this way. We're not doing that today. But I'm going to give it with the feet on the high edge, knowing that if it's too much for you, there is still a low edge right below it. So you'll be able to modify the pose if you realize you may have exceeded your calling. Now, I am going to show you with blankets, right? But if you don't have blankets, it won't matter, because you can control how far up you go. I've never really liked having my hair on a sticky mat, not that I have a lot of it, but I still prefer to have my head on a blanket. You want this edge, if you have blankets or whatever, the hard edge, this fold, goes in the direction where your head will be, and I like also to get fringe out of the way. And again, you don't necessarily need this because you can control how high up you're going to go. If you're using a support, you want the base of the neck where that bump is. If you put your fingers in the back of the neck and lift your chin, your index is going to run into a bump. That bump has to be 1 inch in from the edge of the blanket, not off, but in. That means your shoulders will be safely on the blanket. So this is what you're doing. I'm going to get into it from this side so you can understand more clearly. I come down on a diagonal, right? So I'm not underneath the chair. I scoot my hips forward because I want to get that bump at the base of my neck on the blanket. Then I hold the chair firmly, get my feet up there, scoot myself in, and just check in with where I am there. Now remember, you can just be doing this on the floor without the blankets. But if you're used to practicing with blankets and you have them, I want to be sure that you're safe and doing the right thing. Now, do you see how I'm taking hold of the chair legs? That, you don't let go of them, right? Your arms are straight, the chair is not against the blankets. Your neck on the blanket determines everything else. Now, you can come up with your legs together and round up, or you can come up with your knees apart and go up in a straight line, which is good if you have any lumbar spinal issues. You want to keep your spine neutral, so I will show that. And you come up holding onto the chair. Then again, here, I'm going to press my elbows into the blankets, roll them in underneath me, press my feet down, and lift up. But I have blankets under my shoulders, so this is not tough on my neck. If you would like, you can stay further down, and you can even put your feet on the lower part of the chair and just be there so that it's a less acute angle. Right? Like that. So this is a soft shoulder stand. Close the eyes. Inhale. Exhale. Keep pressing down with your elbows. You just want to keep the chest open, not collapsing into the spine. If you're on the high edge of the chair, you continue to press your elbows down and your feet down, and you lift up. Now, whichever way you came in, knees out and apart, you come down, or knees together. And you put your legs inside the chair and go a little bit in the direction of your head. If you're on blankets, you want your shoulders just off the blankets, and you want your knees at the chair edge. So that may mean you have to pull the chair in a bit, and I'm going to show you my technique. You put your feet on the floor and your heels, and you just pull that chair in a bit. If you need to push it away, you put your knees around the chair and you push the front legs away. Don't start pulling the top of the chair. Just knock it over on you. Right? So I can put my chairs through. By the way, I was forgetting, if you don't have a chair with an open back, you have to do it on the other side of the chair. So mea culpa for not thinking about that. But if you don't have a chair like this, obviously you do it the other way. Now you rest here. If you have blankets under your back, after another few breaths, you're going to find one blanket with one hand, and you're going to try and find the other blanket with the other hand. And then you lift your hips, and you just get rid of your blankets. I'm taking a little too much away. Just take all the way now. I messed it up so spectacularly. And you rest with your knees on the chair, palms facing up, body quiet. Stay there for the next 5 breaths. You can stay there for the next 10 breaths. You do not have to get up now. You can enjoy this rest. I am going to say namaste. Thank you for your company, and enjoy your